Welcome again to the little world of Studio Amanita Satanas. Tonight I'm going to show you some nature films. Yes, nature films. So you thought I only make animations? Not so. I do many things with my little camera. It's a regular 8mm motion picture camera. Regular, not Super 8. They haven't made those regular 8mm cameras for 20 years. But all the films I've shown you, and most of the films I will show you, have been made with this one 8mm camera. The first part of this film is about spiders. Now, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and I personally find spiders beautiful. But from a photographer's point of view, spiders have other advantages. For example, they are confined to their web, usually, so you don't have to run after them. Can you imagine making a film of a fly? Now, there are many different kinds of spiders, and they all have Italian or Greek or Latin names. And there is much to be said about spiders that is interesting and instructive. But if I told you, assuming that I knew all there is to be known about spiders, you'd probably forget. But if I show you spiders in action, you might like what you see. You might remember it. There is one thing, though, I would like to tell you about spiders. They are called arachnids. They are called arachnids because they are all sisters of Arachne, or as the Romans used to call her, Aranea. Aranea was a girl who lived a very long time ago in a place called Lydia, which is now part of Turkey. She was a weaver by trade. She was very proud of her trade, and one day, in her pride, she challenged the goddess Athena to a contest as to who could weave a finer tapestry. Aranea worked very hard and she won the contest. And Athena, nasty and jealous lady that she was, got hopping mad and tore Aranea's tapestry into shreds. Aranea was terribly sad and depressed, and she hanged herself. Athena, perhaps in a fit of remorse, cut the dead girl loose, turned the rope into a web, and turned Aranea into a spider. And ever since then, Aranea and her sisters have been weaving webs, day in, day out. This is not a spider. This is my favorite toy. When I was a little boy, I went to school, like most little boys. And when the teacher wasn't looking, this is what we did. I have forgotten many things I learned in school, but not how to make this toy. And now, whenever my wife, Anita Emma Maria, runs out of thread, I ask for the empty reel. I take a rubber band and a toothpick, and I make myself a little tractor. Enjoy the film. In the early hours of the morning, a spider, sitting in a hibiscus bush in our garden in Florida, has launched a thread. The wind has carried it to an orange tree, and it has anchored itself there. The spider proceeds to the orange tree, where it will weave a web. Every morning it weaves a web, and every evening it eats it up again. Actually, spiders do not weave webs. The web is glued, and whenever you see her abdomen move toward the web, it is putting a drop of glue on the threads. In constructing her web, the spider starts by laying down a few spokes. Then she constructs a loose spiral along which she proceeds. You will see the spiral later on. And then she weaves a close spiral for the web itself. That is the loose spiral along which she moves. She is taking a well-deserved rest. This spider lives on the hibiscus. It also weaves a web, but it will accept a fly from us with some hesitation, even outside its web. This is a very large spider in Ocala National Forest. It too lives in a web, but not all spiders do. The next spider you will see is a wolf spider. It lives in the ground and hunts its prey on foot. Close to our house lives a small spider that weaves an irregular web. It is rather fond of earwigs, as you will see. As the insect struggles to free itself, the spider throws silk around it to restrict its movement. When it has thoroughly handcuffed the earwig, it moves in for a bite, the kiss of death. There. The poison acts very fast, but to be sure she moves in again and again. When the prey is properly tied up, she will cut it loose from the center of the web and take it to her parlor to eat it. Now remember, every time she moves her abdomen, she places a drop of glue on a thread. This is the same spider. It has caught a yellow jacket. That is quite a precarious business for the spider. Watch closely. The yellow jacket is very fast. There, but the spider is faster. This are the egg sacs of a spider. Little spiders play like puppies or kittens. And the game has a meaning. It teaches the spider to hunt. And the only thing to hunt are other little spiders. And so, quite frequently, they eat each other. But don't let that upset you. People also used to eat each other. And besides, is there a difference between this or killing each other in war? This is my neighbor's hedge in Lynn, Massachusetts. And this is a spider's web on my neighbor's hedge in Lynn, Massachusetts. And this is the spider on the spider's web on my neighbor's hedge in Lynn, Massachusetts. And what do you know? It likes to eat flies. The web has a funnel, and the spider goes down into the funnel to eat its fly. And this is a ladybug in the spider's web in the hedge of my neighbor in Lynn, Massachusetts. The spider does not like ladybugs. Yuck! What a taste. The ladybug has no problems moving out of the web. Our spiders in Florida survive the winter. Our spiders in Massachusetts do not. They build this rather large egg sac, place their eggs inside, and die. Very sad. But better than dying in an atomic explosion, don't you think? I hope you enjoyed seeing this film. For some reason, which I can't quite recall, it reminds me of a poem that Lewis Carroll did not write. It goes as follows. "Come into my parlor," said a flider to a spy. "If you don't oblige, my darling, I will call the FBI." "No, I won't," Pray why should I? You freaked out, eight-legged pea. And if you don't stop your solicitations, I will call the KGB. I can't help it, I'm hungry, my little sweet and sour rake. If I'd known you were coming, I'd have surely clammed a bake. Oh, let us then conclude a peace while there is still time to win or hay. If you don't agree, you monster, I will call the CIA. I regret to inform you that it is already much too late, for I have just bit you, and you must shortly meet your fate. After which I shall consume you in yon leaves' protective nook, for it was thus decreed by Lenin and in Mao's little book. Well, not only spiders eat flies. And in the next film, I'm going to show you a praying mantis at work. This, of course, is no praying mantis. That is Anita Emma Maria, my wife of 38 years. Cutting the lawn one day, she found these two characters. The male is the one with thinner arms, away from the window frame. The female eventually separated from the male and looked for nourishment. Mantids are very efficient eaters. Nothing remains of the prey, not even the head. Next I will show you a pitcher plant and a sundew. The pitcher plant that I will show you eats yellow jackets. The sundew eats small flies. The pitcher plant we found in a moist part of Ocala National Forest in Florida. The sundew we found in Florida also, but I have also seen them in New Hampshire. Both of these plants are rather beautiful in their natural surroundings, as you will see. The pitchers are formed out of leaves. One of the leaves had a hole in which we found a live yellow jacket. In autumn, we examined an old, dried-up leaf. It contained the segments of many yellow jackets, and apparently only of yellow jackets. In spring, a bud comes up between the leaves. The flower eventually will hang down. It is rather pretty and yellow. Eventually the petals fall off and the seeds begin to grow. Here is a spider that lives on the leaves of the pitcher plant. I do not believe that this spider lives anywhere else. We found spiders on many of the leaves of pitcher plants, usually on dried up leaves in the fall. This is the sundew, and one of the leaves, one of the red leaves of the sundew has caught a fly. The flowers grow on these curled up stems. The stem eventually uncurls and bears several flowers. Here is a fully developed flower. And here are some of the neighbors of the pitcher plant and of the sundews. In Ocala National Forest, near Orlando, Florida. Here again is a pitcher plant. Well, looks like everybody likes to eat flies, or things that fly anyway. By the way, did I tell you that I saved the country single-handed from a Red Army? Well, that happened quite some time ago. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining brightly in a clear blue sky. The bees were humming at 64 frames a second in our orange trees, and I had gone for a walk. And there, suddenly, in the middle of the forest, I saw the Red Army crossing my path. I looked at the cuckoo clock that I always carry. That is, I don't carry it myself. I have 2 Senegalese porters carrying it. It was nearly high noon, 11:75, on the 35th of May, 1986 BC. I turned to run. Heroism is born of necessity, opportunity, or foolhardiness. Well, whatever applies. I suddenly pulled myself together, and I saw before my eye all the past protectors of Western civilization, from left to right: Herr Adolf Hitler, Signor Benito Mussolini, Monsieur Pierre Laval, the President Ronald Reagan, and Caspar Weinberger. The rest is hysteria, I mean history. I pulled out my trusty camera and I began to shoot, 24 frames a second. Had I not had my camera with me on that day, you would not have lived to see this film. Would you have? Could you have? Of course not. Well, this is the end of today's program. I got to run. My supper is getting cold. Semolina cooked in milk with a little chocolate on the side. But there are a few shots I'd like to share with you before I leave. This ladybug eating aphids. Some ants who have caught themselves a moth that is too big to fit into their hole. Some ant lions catching ants. A katydid. And some dragonflies. Have fun while I go and eat my supper. Bye-bye.